Good morning, North Jersey. It's Thursday, June 18th, and let's talk about the news. So, as people continue to protest the death of George Floyd and demand an end to racial injustice, monuments associated with oppression are under attack. We'll hear about that in just a minute. But first, a bias crime in Wyckoff. So on Wednesday morning, police arrived at New Gourmet Garden Chinese restaurant in Wyckoff. The restaurant was vandalized and labeled a bias crime by authorities. So here to tell us what happened in Wyckoff is our breaking news reporter, Anthony Zarita. Good morning, Anthony. How are you?
Hi, Jesse. I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. So we had some really unfortunate news out in Wyckoff yesterday. You were out there on the scene. Tell us a little bit about what happened and about this bias crime.
So, really unfortunate story out of Wyckoff. Obviously, like you said, a Chinese restaurant was vandalized with coronavirus, and they written "Go home to China" on the sidewalk. Authorities labeled this a bias crime yesterday, saying that there was no other reason for this other than the ethnicity of the restaurant and their owners. It's pretty clear with the "Go home to China" that they were targeted due to their ethnicity, but they called in the cleanup. The crew that cleaned it up actually did it for free because the owner lives in Wyckoff, so at least that was a positive to it.
Got it. I mean, super unfortunate story, a terrible act, especially now, at a time where people are fighting for racial equality. And so I know there were several officers at the scene. I know you said there were some folks who did some free cleanup, but what did the community have to say, and what did the mayor have to say about all of this?
Well, any resident that passed by really kind of voiced their displeasure. They were pretty appalled by what happened, but they did show their support. I know people found out about it on social media and came to order lunch or said they would order dinner. One of the Brick House cigar shop employees actually brought a basket of flowers for the owner, so that was nice to see. Mayor Timothy Shanley called it despicable and an act of racism. Mayor Shanley and other members of the township committee were arrived on scene and showed their support for the owner.
Got it. Now, Anthony, thank you so much for being out there on the scene. Thank you for relaying what's out there. And folks, if you want to catch more on this story or any other breaking news, feel free to head over to northjersey.com and check out Anthony's reporting. Thank you so much, Anthony.
No problem, Jesse. Thank you.
All right, folks. Now, the movement that followed the killing of George Floyd by a police officer in Minneapolis last month has also led to a moment of reckoning for monuments to historical figures associated with oppression and social injustice. Now, this includes Christopher Columbus statues throughout North Jersey. So our reporters have been on the ground talking to communities and their decisions to eliminate some of these statues. So here to tell us what's going on is our local reporter, Katie Sopko. Good morning, Katie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm good. So let's talk about what's happening in these communities. So some towns are looking to get rid of these Christopher Columbus statues, and others are, taking a different decision. So can you tell us a little bit about what's happening and what you're hearing on the ground?
Yeah, so we have some towns like West Orange have already pledged that they would be removing the statue that they have there, whereas other towns like Garfield have had their statues vandalized. And this isn't the first time that Garfield has had their statues vandalized, but they are insisting upon they're going to keep their statues. They're going to keep the school that is named after Christopher Columbus, and they are not going to change their ways just because of this.
Right, got it. Now, I know, like you said, you mentioned some statues were vandalized, and I think I read in your story as well there were other residents who are petitioning to get rid of their Columbus monuments. What's happening on those fronts?
Yeah, not so much in Garfield, but I know in Lodi, there is a petition both to remove it and a petition to keep it. So residents are divided on that one. And then in Clifton, a bunch of former students have actually filed a petition which will be heard tonight at their Board of Education meeting to change the name of one of their schools, which is named after Christopher Columbus. So it's something to keep an eye on.
Gotcha. So it's not only these monuments, it's also anything sort of associated with Christopher Columbus in a way, right?
Yeah, anything that's a tribute. And it's not just Christopher Columbus. Clifton also has a school named after Woodrow Wilson, and they want that changed as well. So it could be anything, I guess.
I guess so. Well, Katie, thank you so much. We'll catch more of your reporting later today. Folks, again, northjersey.com to catch all news on local. Katie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, folks, let's switch some gears. RuPaul fans, if you're out there, mark your calendars. RuPaul's Drag Race stars are coming to the Garden State Plaza in July. The 3-day event will bring several cast members to the Paramus shopping for 2 shows on July 17th, 18th, and the 19th. Now, the Drive and Drag show will feature Acid Betty, Monet Exchange, Evie Oddly, and more. So this summer, fans can enjoy a drag race show from the safety of your cars. And now, before we wrap up for the day, let's talk about what's happening in Wayne. So Governor Murphy is suing the Wayne mayor to stop graduation ceremonies. So a judge issued an injunction against the township on Wednesday to stop the mayor from hosting 2 high school graduation ceremonies this week. Now, this marked the second time in less than a week that a court had to step in and enforce an executive order by Governor Phil Murphy. Now, on Friday, the judge also overruled leaders of Asbury Park who were determined to let restaurants in the seaside city open for indoor dining. Now, folks, the news, it doesn't stop here. You can head over to northjersey.com to find the latest headlines throughout the day. Leave us a comment down below or reach out on Twitter and Instagram. Now, before we let you go, we're going to leave you with a clip of a Mawa gym teacher's exercise videos that'll keep kids fit and parents sane. I'm Jessie Gomez. Thank you so much for watching.
This is called fun with a garbage bag.